In World of Warcraft, companion pets are often seen as status symbols that give other players a clue as to your progress and accomplishments within the game. Especially in Classic WoW, where these cosmetic critters are limited in number and many are hard to come by, companions give you an additional way to flex your gameplay knowledge, luck, or obsession with Azeroth beyond what gear or level could accomplish. From dragon whelps with minuscule drop rates to mechanical inventions crafted by engineers, there is a wide variety of options to choose from, but some have particularly obscure or unexpected ways of obtaining them. Today, I want to cover a small but intriguing quest line needed to obtain the single Alliance-only companion pet, the Sprite Darter Hatchling. Rare, magical, and just plain cute, the quest for this fairy dragon is well worth the colorful reward. This is the story of a fantastic creature of Azeroth, and where to find one for yourself. As always, thank you for the fun comments and support, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. Our adventure today begins in the wilds of Feralas, an overgrown land filled with ancient elven ruins and arcane secrets. Here in the center of the zone, just east of Dire Maul, is a small valley teeming with sprite darters. This is the only place on Azeroth where there is a sizable population of them, though there are a few that can be found at Stone Talon Peak, and a single corrupted one that sometimes wanders inside the Wailing Caverns. It seems this environment was once the perfect isolated spot for them to flourish, but recently, there's been a bit of a disturbance in the ecosystem. The Grim Totem Tauren, often warlike in their nature, have set up camp in the valley and have been capturing the sprite darters for unknown reasons. There's even a large cage in the middle of the camp filled with them. We need to help these little guys out. Luckily, there are others who want to accomplish the same thing, hidden just above one of the small pools along a hidden path. Kindle and Jerkai Moonweaver, two night elves, have been sent here to protect the fairy dragons, and need your help to push back the Grim Totem threat. The quest line starts by escorting Kindle down to the camp, clearing out the enemies, and releasing the darters back into the wilderness. This quest is actually rather difficult, as you not only have to protect yourself and Kindle, but you also have to look after the darters as they fly out of danger, all within 6 minutes. If you rescue them successfully, you can return to Kindle at the Overlook and move on to the next step from Jerkai, who is, I suppose, her sister, but we never officially learn how they're related. The next step is to defeat many of the Grim Totem here in the northern foothills, preventing them from continuing their inhumane capture of the fairy dragons. This is a pretty straightforward quest, but Jerkai does mention something interesting when you return. The Grim Totem clan is much more hostile than most Tauren. I wonder if their own kind frowns upon their actions. I wouldn't be surprised. As you are probably aware, many races on Azeroth have ties to less kindly counterparts, but that is a discussion for another day. Part of me wonders if this is a subtle reference to the Naga, aquatic menaces who were themselves highborn night elves in ancient times. I think it's interesting to consider that nearly every playable race has a villain counterpart. The humans of the Defias, Dark Iron Dwarves, Burning Blade Orcs, and so on. Anyway, the follow-up quest has you report your progress to Tyrande Whisperwind, the leader of the Night Elves in Darnassus. She thanks you for protecting the realm of nature and assisting 2 of her subjects in the wild, pledging to send more scouts to Feralas in the future. You pick a reward item and gain some XP, and most players probably think that's the end of the story. There's no indication of a follow-up or anything else to do here, but I think that's part of the point. Like many secret quests in Classic WoW, sometimes they're designed to be easily missed, like the Sweet Amber quest line from a few weeks ago. This one feels rather similar. Tyrande doesn't have a follow-up quest, but if you travel all the way back to Feralas, back to the spot you've already explored and covered, you'll find Kindle has a new quest for you. Oh, hello. I'm so glad to see you again. How is your trip to Darnassus? Well, you'll be happy to know that we've made quite a bit of progress while you've been gone. We even saved a nest full of eggs. Unfortunately, the mother died before we got to her. Say, would you want one for a pet? They look to hatch soon, so they'll need a good parent. What do you say? If you're really interested, take one of the eggs to Quentin at the racetracks in Shimmering Flats. He'll tell you more. Like I've mentioned in other videos before, It must have been really crazy to be the first one to stumble across this secret continuation to the quest. It's just sitting there waiting to be picked up if you've completed the previous steps. Now we're really on our way to hatching our very own sprite darter. Quentin is another night elf who seems to be familiar with the other two, and is interested in helping you hatch the egg, but in typical fashion, he also adds to our treasure trove of random bits of lore that come out of this story. I'm actually here in Thousand Needles investigating all I can to find out how salvageable the land is. It has become my crusade of sorts to revitalize and replenish the area with new, fertile soil. Perhaps I'll find there's a water source nearby. Tell me you haven't noticed how odd the transition between Feralas and Thousand Needles is. Strange magic was afoot when that happened. I don't have time to get into that right now, but I did want to mention it, and I do have a video speculating on the geologic history of this zone for those interested. Quentin needs 2 elixirs of fortitude to shield the egg during its incubation, which you can either make if you're an alchemist, or you can purchase on the auction house. Once that's done, Quentin wants you to take the fragile egg to the hinterlands, where a dwarf named Agnar Beast Tamer will be able to help you care for the imminent hatchling. You have 1 hour of in-game time to make it all the way over there, which is very doable, but on the off chance you forget about the timer and log off, you'll return to sadly find a broken egg in your inventory. Up at Airy Peak, Agnar gives us the final bit of cryptic lore in the quest chain, and asks you to bring him some meat for the darter to feed on once it hatches. Some good eats for these little guys are flanks of meat, raw and juicy, believe it or not. I was never able to find out why, but it has something to do with Elun's plan for the elves. Maybe they were to be protectors or something, I don't know. Most of what we learn about Elun, the goddess of the Night Elves, is incomplete and shrouded in mystery, but this detail reminded me of another species found on Kalimdor, the half-bear, half-owl wildkin, who are revealed in Classic to be ancient guardians of nature created by Elun, now often misguided and feral. The fairy dragons, while classified as dragonkin, are actually sort of a similar animal hybrid, part butterfly, part chameleon or something. The moon patterns on their wings are also an interesting sign they may be connected to Elun, another of the goddess's creations now reduced to a few small communities. Once you've collected the meat, the egg is ready to hatch, and you've earned yourself 1 sprite darter egg that can be used to summon your new companion. It's unique as far as companion pets go. It's tinier than any of the full-sized fairy dragons in the game, and is generally just a really cute pet to have by your side on your adventures. Say welcome to the newest member of the family. It might only be completed by a small fraction of the player base, even less so for those not relying on leveling guides or add-ons, but ever since I was told about this little adventure, I knew I wanted to make a video on it, and it's a great supplemental bit of XP as you're leveling in the upper 40s. And hey, there's a bit of bonus satisfaction knowing you've completed a secret quest, and helped save a magical creature from a cruel fate too. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you learned something new today, and if you've never found this quest line before, maybe you'll consider checking it out next time you're in Feralas, and try hatching your very own fairy dragon. A special thank you to my channel members who provide bonus support for these videos, and until next time, may the Force be with you.